Okay.
Today, all right?
But it has to be done during the new business portion of the meeting? Right?
What has to be done?
Making a motion?
This is where you would do it, yes.
Yeah.
New business, under new business. All right, I'm going to save you for later, because I'm going to give you a harder job. So, Kyle, you're going to get to be the chair on this one.
Goody.
So Carol, do you want me to open the door?
As a matter of fact, everyone say aye, or A,
Charlie?
yes.
I'm
afraid.
Okay, if you're not, okay, because we don't have a lot of people today, I'm gonna give Charlie the number 3 as well, because since you're gonna make the motion, you're gonna speak in favor of it. And then I need somebody to speak against it. Okay, so this is very simple. So Kyle, you wanna come up here to the lectern, please, and ask, is there any new business? And then whoever has number 1 should get up.
Toastmasters, is there any new business?
Mrs. Chair, let's say, I have a motion.
I recognize Charlie.
I would like that our organization should meet on alternate Saturdays.
I would like, what was that?
I move that.
Thank you.
I move that this organization meets on alternate Saturdays.
Does anyone second the motion?
I second the motion.
I think the motion has been, I recognize him, is that right? It is now our motion, the motion is now open for discussion, is that
Okay,
right?
you need to state the motion, we'll give it to the group,
Okay, the motion is that this organization meet on alternate Sundays,
Saturdays.
Saturdays.
Been moved and seconded.
It's been moved and seconded.
All right, now it's our motion, and now what do you say?
Oh, gosh. Cheers, these
Is there any discussion?
Okay, there you go. Is there any discussion?
I would like to.
I move that.
I move
Oh,
that.
he's already moved.
I already moved
You
that.
got up and you started talking, what are you gonna say?
So,
What
Mrs.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
are you gonna do?
I have to do something
You
else.
gotta recognize him.
Uh-oh, I didn't, I
Madam Chair.
recognized him in the first place.
No, this time for the discussion.
Still Charlie.
So once again, Madam Chair,
Yes, Charlie, I recognize Charlie.
I would like to sustain my my motion by saying that on Saturdays, most of the people are free to attend the meeting.
Think of these as table topics. Or
Does anyone second this motion? Because
It was already
he
seconded.
just moved it again.
No, he didn't.
No, I
He
didn't.
was discussing it.
Okay, does anyone have any further discussion?
Madam Chair,
I recognize Tatiana.
fellow members of our organizations, I oppose this motion because I think we need to meet every Saturday, otherwise I will miss you too much.
All right,
Is there any further discussion?
let's assume there's no further discussion, what are we gonna do?
If there's no further discussion, we shall vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no.
No?
No.
Mr. Weisbaker.
The chair announces the result.
The chair announces the result, which is we have approved
The ayes have it,
the ayes have it,
and we will meet on.
and we will meet
Saturdays.
on alternate Saturdays.
Okay, very good. These exercise sheets, if you would save them, please, as I want to get them back, so I don't have to make whole new copies for the next time I do this. So you can just leave them on the table for now.
You recognize that Carl wants his papers back.
Now I want to talk about amendments, and unfortunately, the screen has covered up what I wrote on this board. So, anybody know how to get the screen up?
Yeah, you just hit screen out.
Where?
It might shut everything down, but. Do we do not want to cover it now?
Well, but
Yeah, you have to shut it down to
You
raise the
shut down to
screen.
get the screen off.
All right, we don't wanna do that, so I'm gonna keep it.
Can I help by reading what's on the?
All right. Need some scotch tape. Hope this stays up for the next 5 minutes, okay. All right, now, the wording is quite, alternate, it's really alternate, not every other. So, there are 3 ways that you can amend the motion. Maybe the motion as it stands doesn't really tell us everything we really need to execute what it is as a group we want to do. So we have amendments, and you can have, the amendments, first of all, they must be germane to the main motion, they must be pertinent, right? And secondly, you can have a total of 3 tiers. So you can have a motion, an amendment that's under discussion, and then an amendment, a proposed amendment to that amendment. So you can have those 3 tiers. We're not going to go that far with this next exercise. But there are 3 ways that you can, amend a motion. By addition or inserting something, all right? And we're going to change something by adding something, deleting. You're going to do it by deleting something or by substituting something for something that's already there. Now, as it just turns out, we have another script, another handout here, exercise, if you will. Start on this side of the room. And I need a chair. Monique, this time you're going to be the chair. So if you would like to come up here, please. And and we're going to exercise. We'll get to you, don't worry.
I'm not.
So what we're going to do is, the motion is on the floor. Let's assume we haven't really already approved this motion, all right? But it's on the floor, and we want to make some changes. So someone has a handout, and their job is to rise to amend the motion by inserting. So who has that? That would be, okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Warren?
I move that?
You move to amend.
I move to amend the motion to insert at 1 PM after the word Saturdays.
So the way I had the board up here, I was going to do that with a felt tip pen, but after the Saturday, say at 1 PM, if we approve this amendment. All right, so if it passes, then we read every other Saturday, or every other Saturday at 1 PM. So let's go ahead and take a vote to move this along.
Is there not a second? Do we need a second?
Yeah, someone would need to second that.
Okay.
That's not in the script. So let's assume it's been a second, there's
It
been a
is,
discussion.
it says in each
And
case.
let's-
the
So we
chair
need to
will
take a vote, because we need
All
to
right, take a
know
vote.
where we're at.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those not in favor, say no. Those not in favor? Anybody not in favor? Okay, the ayes have it.
All right, and
We're meeting at 1.
we're meeting at 1 PM, and that assumes that we haven't really voted on the main motion, because we're still amending it. I know we approved the main motion a little bit ago, I probably shouldn't have let that happen. But at any rate, if the motion's still on the floor, then it would be, I move that we meet on alternate Saturdays at 1 PM. Okay, now, there's other changes maybe we want to make, so who has number 2?
Madam Chair,
Tony?
I move that we delete the word alternate.
Is there a second?
Thank you.
Is there a second?
Is there a second?
I second.
All right, is there discussion?
Okay, let's assume
No.
that the discussion is done and points have been made.
If there's no discussion, are we ready for a vote? Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'm so
Aye.
used to raising my hand. I can do it. Those in favor. Those opposed?
No.
The ayes have it.
So now the motion would read, I move that we meet every Saturday at 1 PM. So what we've done by that motion, by that amendment, is to take out every other week and make it every week. We've got to be there every week now because of that. All right, let's assume that the word alternate or every other is back in there. And we're going to try number 3. All right, so let's assume that the word alternate is still in the motion. So who's got number 3?
Madam Chair,
Margarita?
I move that we substitute every fourth for alternate.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I
second. Is there any discussion on the matter? Then let's go ahead and vote. Those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed?
No.
No. Sounds like a tie to me.
The chair is undecided. What are you going to do? Didn't want to talk about that. How about show of hands?
How about a show of hands? Those in favor? Okay. Raise your hand. Oh, that's less than said aye. Okay, those opposed?
Maybe there's no's here.
Yeah. I guess so. The ayes were- So the noes have it. This has been.
The amendment is
The
defeated.
amendment is defeated.
And then what we would go back and then vote on the full motion, which we did earlier,
Okay.
where instead of the way it's written, that on alternate Saturdays, it would read alternate Saturdays at 1 p.m. And we took alternate out of it. Okay, meet on Saturdays at 1 p.m. That's what the final motion would look like, and then we would vote on that. So, okay, is that pretty well clear with everyone? Okay, thank you, Monique.
Thank you.
All right.
So Carl, just for clarification, is the amendment process the way that you have discussion from changing the original motion?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And this was a pretty straightforward one, even though I've got to rewrite that one handwritten slide. But again, the points I was trying to make here is that there are 3 ways of changing the motion. That's by inserting something, deleting something, or substituting something. Okay, we went through all 3 of those exercises. All right. Now, I should mention that sometimes the debate goes on and on and on, and one of these people are going to quit, we're going to vote on this thing. And so there's something called the previous question. And that's a motion to close debate, all right? And I'll simply say, that's called a subsidiary motion. Anyone can get up when they need to be recognized. Though Arnie could get up, for example, and say, Mr. Chairman, and I would recognize Arnie, so I move the previous question, which means we want to close debate. Someone would need to second that. Are we going to have any discussion on that?
No.
No, why should we debate whether or not we're going to debate? Okay, it's just either close it off or not. So who knows how much of a vote is the majority vote good enough on this case to close debate? The answer is no. It's a 2/3 majority. Okay, so we've got, I guess we've got 12 people in the room now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Assuming that I had a vote. All right. Then 2/3 of 12 is what?
8.
8. All right, I don't vote because I'm the chair. Now how much is 2/3 of 12? And 2/3 of 11, how many is it?
Still
8. It's still 8, right?
Carl,
Can't
you
be
said
less.
2/3 of majority
Well, 2/3 of
or
a quorum,
of
assuming you have a
quo-
quorum present voting, all right? Now, you don't have to vote, all right? As long as you be here, sitting on your derriere in your chair, and you choose not to vote, that's okay, as long as you're an active member. So the vote could be 2 to 1, and that's a 2/3 majority, as long as there was a quorum present, all right? And that goes for any ballot, any voting. You could have a voting whether we're going to close the door. We've got 12 people in the room now, and 3 are in favor and 2 are against. What happened to the other 7? Well, they didn't care, or else they decided not to vote. That's their prerogative. That's if they're part of the quorum. Okay, so everybody doesn't have to vote. So that's could be the kind of thing that happens in elections sometime. A lot of people just don't get out and bother to vote, and people win elections by a lot smaller margin than perhaps they thought they were going to because people didn't bother to vote. Okay. I'm going to go to the next exercise, This is a fun exercise, this is kind of pertinent to the club. And I'm going to start, I need Arnie to come up and run this one, okay? And Arnie's been through my.
We applaud. We're all
And I'm
afraid.
going to, who has not had it, Arnie's got his chance here, and that you haven't had a chance. And your name is, I'm sorry? Oh, welcome, glad to have you with us. Would you like to participate?
Aye. Oh, yes.
Okay. Well, this is the wrong exercise. This is not the one I want to do, I want to do the flag one. On this one, yeah. I'm not quite sure what happened here. Bear with me. All right, there it is. Okay. Not this one, you're gonna get 1 and 3.
Okay.
So we get the speech in favor of the motion. All right. And Rita, that. All right, Tony. You're going to speak in favor of the amendment. So you'll get booth number 4 and 6 there. Speak in favor of the Boost amendment as well. Tatiana, I don't know how this always works out, but you get to be against it. Okay. All right, you will have another roll. As well as you can. So, Arnie, why don't you open the club business, please?
Is there any new business?
Then number 1.
Mr. Chair,
The chair recognizes Annette.
I move that we purchase a flag.
I second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the club purchase a flag. Is there any discussion?
Number 3.
The chair recognizes Annette.
I just think it's important to have a flag in the room because we have a bunch of ribbons, but no US flag. Thank you.
Okay, number 4.
Mr. Chair, I move to amend.
Well,
Oh,
you've got, whoever, it's just making a motion, you just did 3.
Mr. Chair,
The chair recognizes Tony.
I move to amend the motion to insert the word American before flag.
I second the emotion. The emotion.
I second the amendment. I second that amendment.
Well, I do too, because I think I'm number 5.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's because I thought perhaps I was alone.
We have a second.
Prompted you
All
guys.
right, let's check this
It's,
here.
it's moved and seconded that
Mine is funnier.
we insert the phrase American before flag. Is there any discussion on the amendment?
Mr. Chair,
The chair recognizes Tony.
American flag is all I know. So, I'm speaking in favor of the amendment.
Mr. Chair,
Chair recognizes Monique.
I really don't think we should have American in front of this flag. This is for our flag. I mean, it's one thing to have a flag for our club. It's a Toastmasters club. Maybe a Naval Postgraduate School flag. That's okay. But to put an American flag, how does that represent us? It doesn't meet the needs of the club. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion?
Who's got number 8?
It's
you later.
Mr. Chair,
Chair recognizes Kyle.
I move to amend the amendment by adding the phrase "at a cost not to exceed $25," because I'm gonna totally ignore what she just had to say.
So the question is this
Okay.
amendment, proposed amendment in order? And why or why not?
I think it's not in order because we haven't disposed of the amendment yet.
The first one.
She was trying to amend the amendment,
amendment.
basically.
Yeah.
But the amendment is on what type of flag we should have,
Mhm.
not the cost of the flag.
Yeah, so
So it's not your.
it's not germane, yeah. So the cost is not germane to the subject of the amendment. So
Okay, so
I'm not sure what the chair, does the chair say that
So sit
motion
my
is out of
lady
order?
down.
Yeah, basically the
Yeah.
motion is out.
Yeah,
The proposed amendment is out of order.
Yeah, the proposed amendment is out of order because it's not germane to the topic of the
So I
amendment.
sheepishly sit down just like before.
Yeah, exactly. So I did that to you.
Okay, so,
Now,
So,
again, the
yeah.
reason it's out of order is not because doesn't have value, because it does have value, we're gonna get to it again in a minute. But because what we're trying to decide with this amendment is whether or not we should define the type of flag that we're gonna have, not what the cost ought to be, all right? So let's assume that the discussion is over. Arnie, you need to dispose of the proposed amendment to insert the word American before flag.
so the amendment will be all in favor of the amendment, say aye.
I,
Aye.
All opposed, say no.
No!
I only heard two no's. You didn't know how loud. So the amendment passes, and the motion is now that the club buy an American flag.
All right, number 9. Who's got number 9?
Oh, it's me? I don't, no.
Charlie?
Just one question, this one, number 9 is to correct what she said, and she wasn't taken into account. So this is the question.
Well,
Mr. Chair,
you have-
The chair recognizes Charlie.
I would like to amend that the flag should not exceed the cost of $25.
Now, what you meant to say is you moved to amend.
I move.
Yeah.
And now is this in order?
Yes.
Yes.
And why is it in order?
Because it's germane to the motion as amended.
That's correct. All right, we've already defined what kind of flag we want, and even if we voted American down, we'd still be defining what we want to pay for whatever it is we buy, okay? And so hence Charlie has made this amendment, moved to amend it at a cost not to exceed $25. So who's got number 10 needs to second this.
Second,
Okay.
the proposed amendment.
It's been moved and seconded that the club purchase a flag, an American flag, at a cost not to exceed $25. Is there any discussion of the amendment?
Mr. Chair,
Chair recognizes Charlie.
I would like to sustain my amendment by saying that our budget would not afford a higher price for the flag.
Okay. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Chair recognizes Tatiana.
fellow members of our organization, I think that for $25 we would be able to buy very cheap flag, which would be out of its functionality very quickly, and we will end up buying another one and spending even more.
Okay. Is there any further?
Mr. Chair. I make a motion, I move that we close the debate.
I second the motion.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded that the debate be closed. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say no.
No.
Okay, the chair is undecided as to whether there was a 2/3 majority, so by show of hands, all in favor? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All opposed? 1, 2. So so debate is closed by a 2/3 majority.
Okay, so we now still have the
So now,
amendment, and that's what we closed debate on, is
On the amendment.
on the amendment, which is to add the phrase at a cost not to exceed $25. So we need to
Right.
vote on that next.
yeah, so now all in favor of the amendment to that the cost not exceed $25, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no.
No.
The ayes have it, the motion passes.
And then
And
it passes.
I'm sorry, yes, thank you. The amendment passes, and the motion as amended now stands that the club buy an American flag at a cost not to exceed $25. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Okay, all in favor of the motion as amended, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no.
No.
The motion passes. So the club will purchase an American flag at a cost not to exceed $25.
All right, let's have. Very good. All
So
right.
this is why there's dictatorship, right?
I have another exercise, but it's gonna take about 20 minutes to do it, so instead of doing that, I'm gonna go through some additional things that might be of value to you. Another thing that can happen during a meeting is someone rising to a point of order. And that generally means that the organization is not proceeding in accordance with all its rules, we're doing something wrong. This is, Mr. Chairman, I rise to a point of order, and we don't need to be recognized to rise to a point of order. The chair recognizes Toastmaster Arnie Bus, and Arnie says, you know, we shouldn't really be voting on this at this point because we haven't approved the amendment yet. And the chair would say, you're right, your point of order is sustained, or you're full of it, your point of order is not taken, or worse to that effect. Okay? So that's one thing that can come up. Another thing that can come up is a point of information. Now, a point of information, you can interrupt also, but the purpose of a point of information is for someone to ask for information, not to give information. Okay? Fine line. That's an point of information, blah, 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 blah. No, it's not point of information. Point of information is, if we open the door, what will the temperature of the room be in here? And that would be a legitimate point of information. If we ever do this again, we'll do the holiday party routine, which is much longer than this last exercise was if we have more people. But I want to talk about a couple of other things, and particularly, which is pertinent to our executive committee meetings and even to our meetings in general. One is called general consent. All right? There's a lot of things that come up in a meeting that are obvious. And we're going to close the meeting. We're going to adjourn the meeting. We don't need a motion to adjourn the meeting. All right? What we can simply do, even though the body has the final authority, not the chair can't say, I hereby adjourn the meeting. The chair can say, if there's no objection, the meeting stands adjourned. And most people don't object to getting out of the meeting. So, general consent, and it's right in there in Robert's rules, pretty well lined up. The second thing that's important, particularly to us in the executive committee, is that there's a relaxation of the rules in a small, less formal group. So that in a small group, and that's defined as basically 12 people or less, a dozen or fewer, which would be our executive committee. So in the case here, it's okay to discuss what, maybe you're going to make a motion on something, but you want to discuss it a bit first. I think you brought that up earlier. And you kind of get the feel of the group before you go any further. That's okay. Then someone can make a motion, and the chair even can make a motion in a smaller group. And so there's a lot of flexibility about the rules of debate and everything else in a smaller group, because you want to get things done. And, generally a smaller group is a subset of the larger group that's there to try to guide or give some guidance to the larger group. In the district, we have an operating committee which basically discusses issues that are going to come up before the district executive committee, which consists of all the area governors and the top district leaders. And the operating committee meets on the alternate months from when the executive committee meets. And then the executive committee proposes policy that will get voted on by the clubs at the district conference in November and May. So when you have the smaller group, the operating committee would definitely be a case, as a member of the executive committee, that the operating committee would have the relaxed rules. Executive committee, no, because that's 50-odd area governors, or at least not that many. That would just split the district. But still, the executive committee ought to run by straight parliamentary procedure. Okay. Now the next thing is the chair doesn't have the authority, the assembly does. So again, there's no such thing as chair's prerogative. We're going to close this meeting, chair's prerogative. No. Can't do that. Again, if there's no objection, the meeting stands adjourned. If there's minutes to the meeting, are there any corrections to the meeting? Hearing none, the minutes stand approved. Or where's that effect? So you don't have to move that the minutes be accepted. You don't have to move to adjourn the meeting. It's called general consent, okay? One thing you don't want to do at the end, and I've seen it done all the time, does anybody have anything for the good of the order? When Kyle gets up and says something about the education, I get up and ramble on about something. Now Arnie talks about the treasurer, and we're in here for 10 more minutes. There's always going to be some old timer that'll get up like me and say, you know, back in 1973, the way we used to do it. So it's generally not a good idea to say anything for the good of the order. Now, in the case of our club, because we want to get the educational meeting going and out of the way, we tend to do our business at the end, so that's okay. But you just need to be aware as president that you don't want just somebody up rambling. If you're going to call on somebody at the end, they better have something useful to say, which Kyle does and Arnie does, and hopefully occasionally I even do. The parliamentarian, sometimes the chair will say, a parliamentarian rule that, no, the parliamentarian advises the chair rules. So those of you who have seen me at the district meetings, I'm whispering sweet somethings into somebody's ear. I'm advising the district governor, this is what you should do. And that the district governor can take it or leave it. If they do it a different way and it's challenged, then it becomes a parliamentary procedure that I usually have to whisper in their ear even further. So, okay. Another thing is about being out of order. And I simply say that if you have a motion, like we had a couple of motions here today that were out of order at the time, the motion is out of order, the person is not out of order. Okay? So you can't say, Kyle, you're out of order because that motion's not germane. No, your motion, Kyle, is out of order, so we won't entertain it at this time. I can't remember if it was you or Charlie that had that.
Is it up to the chair, does that motion need to be raised again by the floor, or can the chair just put it in the parking lot, bring it back out?
Which motion?
The motion that's out of order.
No, if it's out of order, you have to start fresh.
You have to start fresh, and that has to be motion.
Yeah,
So
and
have
it
to
did
do
start
again.
fresh, and the exercise, what happened, it was out of order at one point, because we were discussing the kind of flag we should buy, not what it should cost, but once we decided that, then it was fair game, because we wanted to define a boundary for the cost. That was the difference. Okay?
Mr. Chair, so can the same person who made the first motion do it again
Sure.
when it's in order?
Sure.
Okay.
So if Kyle had all 4 of those sheets, she could have gotten up the second time and made the same motion, in which case it would have been, it was in order. So
Me, you knew
basically
I'd be
starting-
pouting by that point, so.
Basically starting fresh. Okay, are there any other questions? All right, again, don't worry about the sheets of paper. You can take the handouts that I gave you of the slides, those are yours. If you want more details, there's 2 piles of handouts up on the back counter if you would like to take one. I generally don't pass those out because a lot of people just leave them sitting behind. But it tells you about other kinds of motions and why you use motions, and more detail about the 8 steps of making a motion. There's a handout on that by the late past district governor Tom Dennis. So anyway, any other questions? Kyle?
Point of information, if it's in brevity, who is Roberts?
Who was what?
Roberts.
Who was Roberts?
General Henry M. Roberts, back in the 1800s, realized that there was a need to have some kind of guide